Welcome to When Will It End? It's a movie podcast where we watch the movies. We start with the first in a series, in a franchise, and we watch all the subsequent sequels, and we ask ourselves, are they good or is it quite shit? And we're starting a new series today. Charles, welcome to the show.
I really hate that.
What do you hate? That I introduce you?
I hate that. No, that's fine. I don't want to introduce anything, but I hate that you boil this show down to we watch the movies
we do.
And we tell you whether it's good.
Hold on.
I hate that.
Is there anything inaccurate about that
Yes.
sentiment? What?
I've said this before. I'll say it again.
God.
And you know what? When I'm done, I'll also say I said what I said.
You know, Allison, my beautiful girlfriend Allison,
Yeah.
started doing that independent of you. I said
What?
what I said.
Wow.
It is driving me crazy.
That's weird.
I have accused her of collaboration. And by the way, we are sitting in my father's basement office.
What does he do down here?
Nothing anymore. But like, there's like a Keith Hernandez baseball card on the wall. There's a lot of
God.
jazz posters, a Moxie sign.
This is like close to one of those things where the police bust into a house and discover the secret room. All we do is like yarn connecting some of these posters, and it's like
What they would
creepy.
find out is evidence that my father is a dork.
the great hero villain, Switcheroo.
Well,
You
put
must
it in
not miss
context.
the Silver Age, an untold epic from another era, and 12 all-new block. Why is
It's a
that takes up
DC. You didn't.
that
The
takes
one
up, like,
piece of information you left out is
10%
that
of
it's
this
a
room.
DC Comics poster that has like beloved images of classic heroes.
Why does he have that?
Because
Did
he
you
likes
set that up?
he likes the heroes, and he reads the books and
All right,
tells
so
us if they're good.
for listeners at home, I'm going to take a picture of this. We're going to put it on. Is that invasive?
It is definitely
All right,
invasive.
I'm going to paint you a picture.
You can take a picture. I don't care.
Hitchcock. Josh, what does that say? I can't read that.
I don't know. You're looking at something behind me. How would I know what it says?
You can't even see it. But
Here's
it's
a real rarity down here. A Sports Illustrated cover with the Jets succeeding.
that was my. I was going to
Which
get
is-
to that moment.
I stole it from you, buddy.
Stole it.
Yes, today we're starting a new series of film, and when I say
Excited.
film, I'm not talking about, oh, I have made the art film where the beggar boy dies in the street. We're talking about a movie, a fun movie, where there's women in midriff revealing shirts.
That's all.
There's men who are muscular and very upset about cars and friendship and, more importantly, family. But we'll
No!
What?
We're going to get to that.
Family.
This is what I want to say before we get into the movie.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Okay, fine.
What did you put in that sandwich?
What sandwich?
That's Dom Toretto's first line in the whole series. And you
All right.
forgot. Your atrophied brain. You're like full Biden mode where you go to sleep for one night and you wake up like, where am I?
What I do is this.
Listen up, Jack.
Well, first of all, yes, I tell everyone that disagrees with me that they must do push-up competitions with me.
Oh, and you have a childhood stutter that emerged when you were 78.
After 2 brain surgeries. But anyway, that's beside the point.
This isn't a
What was
politics
I talking about?
podcast.
What was I talking-
We're not from the dirtbag left. We're from the clean and concise film middle
World.
We don't have political opinions.
That's correct. We like the movies. We watch the movies.
Thank you. We're journalists.
We tell you what's good.
That's the whole show.
We tell you where it goes.
Yeah.
I think what I want to do, because I'm coming at this series. We're watching. I don't know if we said it. Fast and the Furious.
Watching the Fast and the Furious movies.
We're
You
watching
saw the title of the episode. You know. Don't be coy, podcast
Even though
listener.
apparently this is called the Fast Saga. I'm calling it the Furiousverse because it rolls off the tongue really nice.
It sounds like the Furriesverse, to be honest.
The Furiousverse.
I'm just really worried that people are going to be coming to this expecting some really good YIF content.
Hey, who knows? Who knows? There might be. I've never seen Too Fast, Too Furious.
There could be furries in it. We don't know.
Oh my god, that would be because what? It comes out a year later, 2 years later.
Pretty quickly. I think.
Yeah.
I think 2 years later.
I think the midriff stuff is still going to be pretty big, but there might be a little furry moment. Who knows?
We can hope and pray and dream.
Here's what I'm saying. All I know about this series is from basically 4 onward. I've seen 3, but I remember it not really being a huge part of the franchise. And you mentioned the word family. I think that's what most people know about this series. This is a chronicle of family. This is a chronicle of what a franchise sets up to do, what it never intended to do, and what other people do instead. So we don't watch the movies, Josh. We don't tell you what's good, Josh.
We do both of those things.
We chronicle an experience.
Ugh.
We take in an entire cinematic universe and we lived there.
This is me and Charles in a nutshell. Charles is tech startup. Charles is, I'm a save of the world. Okay? Here's me. I made a delicious tuna sandwich. No crust. Just eat the sandwich.
Oh, so you're saying you're the Paul Walker.
Well, no, I'm
You're
Mia.
the statuesque blonded. You're Mia?
Mia makes a sandwich
you
at
make it the
Toretto's. Oh my
sandwich.
God. Okay. Paul Walker, a.k.a. Brian Spilker, a.k.a. Brian O'Connor. Here's the deal, Brian. You can change your first name when you go undercover. I hadn't seen this movie in so long. It had been many, many years. What struck us rewatching it is like how slavishly this is devoted to Point Break, which, I guess like many cop and robber movies, I'm not saying Point Break invented the dynamic of the cop robber, like the relationship that develops between the hunter and the prey, and when the prey becomes the hunted. That's, I think, a pretty classic story as the dawn of time.
Most dangerous game. Probably the most parodied and, what's it called? When you do something that someone else has done, but do it again.
Remake?
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's cool. Just like
my little winks before I...
You were winking right at me.
I was just doing a Biden.
Is that you saying a save me? Like,
yeah.
This is elder abuse?
Anyway, just keep going.
Wow, full bail.
Yeah.
This is great.
I don't
We're
care,
not
man.
even 10 minutes in and you've just, you're like left this plane
Whatever.
of existence.
Yeah,
Gotta
whatever.
drink that hot brown. Le chat.
My mom's mug.
My mom's mug.
I'm taking this, by the way.
Don't take
I don't know
it.
how you fucking got this.
Don't
but I'm
take it.
taking
My mom has the same mug Charles's
That's
mom
crazy.
has. It's a
Our
New
moms
England
are
mom
united,
rule.
Yeah. Do you think there's some sort of link?
A league of New England
Do
moms.
you think that's how we met?
A league of extraordinary moms.
Do you think they're in the League of Extraordinary Moms?
You think they met at the mug store?
No, I
Like,
think
hey, we should have dumb kids. This should make a terrible
no.
show.
They met at the League, Josh.
Oh, the league. Forgive me.
They all wore costumes, and they're like, "All right, our sons will be friends one day.
Okay, so in
They'll
Fast
make
and
a podcast
Furious,
where they watch the movies."
it's great that we're also doing a series that's like so universally beloved, and well, like we're gonna bring so little to this that I'm excited. We do have one shtick. We did some. I think I'm proud of our featurette, our sidebar we're gonna do.
What's that?
I made the list last night. I
Oh,
texted
yeah.
it. We have got a feature coming up. You're gonna want to stick around to see what the feature is. Vroom, vroom.
Yeah, and if we had ads or anything, this would be a moment where we take a break and you listen to an ad in.
Yeah. Also, just touch your
Listen.
foot with my foot.
Yeah, that was nice.
I know. I didn't expect that.
We both have feet, Josh.
We both have feet. Hey, here's the thing. All my socks have holes in them now.
Why?
I don't know, Jack. Okay, so Fast and Furious, so what's so funny about this to me is that everyone makes fun of Keanu's performance in Point Break for being like wooden and
Weird.
and it's a strange
It's a weird
performance.
take. I mean, it's a great performance. I think it's a weird take. I think that's,
It's a great performance. I think once you I think we have surpassed. We don't watch Point Break with a shred of irony. I genuinely think that's a brilliant movie. I think Catherine Bigelow's commentary on men and movies and using a high profile, like big budget Hollywood blockbuster to tell a fascinating story about male relationships. That's very emotional and very out of character for the genre she's, I'm not going to say parodying, but sort of creating like a meta text for.
yeah.
This
I think that's
movie-
why his
yeah.
performance works.
Yeah.
Keanu, because it's all within that context.
Right, and just to revisit some of the key points of Point Break, you have Keanu Reeves playing Johnny Utah, who is a celebrity college quarterback who is now an undercover FBI agent who does not change his name while going undercover to become a surfer. It's just fucking awesome. Everything about that movie is perfect. And in the movie, famously, you have Patrick Swayze, who's this golden California beach god with like flowing, just gorgeous locks, and he's ripped and tan. And then you have the woman who Keanu Reeves is paired off with romantically, who's wonderful. It's Tank Girl. She has a real name, but I'm just going to call her Tank Girl because let's be real, Tank Girl. It's the best thing anyone's ever done. And she's
Tank Girl?
Yeah, just Tank Girl.
I know, but that's the best thing anyone's ever done.
I don't know. It's pretty good. I
I've
like
never
it.
seen it.
It's good, man. You should
I
see
think
it.
I went to a midnight screening, but immediately fell asleep.
Well, maybe it was the wrong time to go to midnight
I
screening.
think so. I think I'm done with those.
Yeah.
I think I will just fall asleep. We started this movie after it was like 11:30.
It was late, but I mean, like, I'm
What?
so old now. Like the night before our record, I was in Ithaca, New York, for a Harsh Noise Wall show.
Where you wore
And
a bag on your head.
I wore a bag in my head while the great French master of Harsh Noise Wall, Vomir, played. It was great. We all put on our black plastic bags and stood in stillness as nothingness enveloped over a consciousness, and we
Did
projected
anyone
our.
not wear the bag?
Yeah, it wasn't like required. He was very polite. He went around handing out bags. He was like, "Hey, wear the bag, it's good," sort of thing. He was great, a lovely person. But that show ended at 10 o'clock, and I was ecstatic.
Wow.
It started at 7, ended at 10, and I was like, "This is," because that same tour was going to New York. People were like, "Oh, you're going to go to the big show in New York?" And I was like, "The show in Ithaca ends at 10 o'clock. I can be in bed." It's sick. So yeah, I'm with you, because we were in Boston too recently, and you're like, "We could go to the midnight screening," and I was like, "That's in 4.5 hours." No.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not the time though. This, for a movie that, I mean, we'll get into the movie in a minute, but for a movie that is
Hour 47.
hour 47 and monotonous.
It's a
lazy,
weird, boring movie. Okay, but hold on.
boring.
So,
But it's like, this is a movie to fall asleep to, honestly. Like, this is one that,
yeah,
even if you don't want to,
it's
I think
like background static.
It's a luller.
It's a luller.
And I somehow stayed awake the whole time. I think it's because I just was so transfixed. It's my first time. So transfixed by how small and rudimentary and just like, I was just waiting for something real and important to happen the whole time. So I think that's why I made it.
We'll get into the absolutely fucking befuddling structure of this movie later. But, you know, as I said, watching the movie, like, it's one of these weird things where, you know, we're watching this in the echoes of history. So, like, if I didn't know this was the beginning of, like, what has become the most, like, indelible action franchise in American history, it would be like, what a weird, boring, tossed off oddity, you know. Because it's a big swing of a movie, which, to give it a lot of credit, even though a lot of it doesn't really work, it's a big swing.
Yeah.
But like watching it as like, oh, that's the first time Dom gives someone a beer. That's the first time someone says family. Like, because like you then it's a weird. So we're watching it from that vantage point.
Yeah, and it's a very strange place to watch it from.
But to reel this in for a minute, in Point Break, basically, Keanu gets like a female surrogate for his male feelings towards the criminal that he is becoming infatuated with.
Yeah, he gets to fuck someone,
but not Pat.
But it's like
Swayze, which is a huge fucking problem with that movie, because that'd be what a scene.
No, I disagree.
You think the restraint is what gives it that erotic?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
yeah, okay.
I think that, because if he did, then honestly, I think, especially when it was released, it would have been, no one would have watched it.
That's true. Its subversive quality comes from its restraint. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this movie, they completely photocopy that exact dynamic, where now instead of Dom, Paul Walker can fuck his sister Mia.
Yeah.
Who's like, I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about Mia per se. I don't think it's a terribly well written character or a great performance per se, but she's doing her thing. God bless her. And it's just funny that in this movie they're like, Paul gets to fuck almost Vin's sister.
Yeah.
Which is like a weirder. It's like a little less. Like in Point Break, they both have had relations with Tank Girl, and that makes that dynamic, that gives it this edge to it, this like competitive edge. Like she's like the battleground for their conflicting emotions. And in this, it's like, no, she's literally another Toretto.
Yeah.
Like it's just a different
maybe
Toretto.
what they were going for was the like brother character protecting the sister. And they sort of briefly talk about it, but it never comes up.
You break her heart, I'll break your neck.
Yeah, and then he turns out to be a cop, and he doesn't.
That moment is absolutely crazy.
The fact that a police officer who is his mortal enemy, he says, "What? I'd rather tap than go back. I'd rather
die than go back."
Why did I think he said tap?
I don't know. Yeah, why the fuck do you do any of the things?
I thought that was like cool crime slang for die.
Just
touch your foot again.
I know. Right? It's a moment we just shared. I don't know why you thought that, which is it's insane. You would make me articulate.
I'd rather
that
tap.
phrase.
I'm gonna update the quotes page on IMDb.
Please.
I'd rather tap than go back.
You should look up the quotes that people pull for the. I'm not kidding. You should look it up.
What do you want me to do? I don't do this ever.
Just
How do you type and mic at the same time?
like be an adult and use one. Just type in Fast and the Furious IMDb. It's there we go. There, look at him go.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So this
most
movie
of
is
this
about
Fast and the Furious is mostly you type with your left hand.
Paul Walker plays Brian O'Connor, the undercover cop who works for a sub Joe Pantoliano, but still very, very fine. The character actor playing is his boss. I liked, though. There's this one great part, where I wasn't expecting this. Can you look up the name of the actor who plays his boss?
Yeah,
because the first person in the movie to say
Sergeant Tanner,
the first person in the movie to say family.
We're getting to that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's a weird part.
So no, this is a moment.
Okay.
To me, all this movie franchise is family.
Right.
It's like It's the most. It's everything. It's you can make fun of it. You can believe in it. Family is the word for this movie, and I think we should chronicle every use of the word family.
Fine, that's great.
But I'm just saying we can't just breeze through. This is a door. This is a magnificent door we're opening.
Dare I say a portal?
Yeah, I would call it a portal.
Well,
That's a French word for door.
I'm gonna introduce our featurette because I think that it plays into that. Because I would argue in these movies the visual
We're
representation.
doing both. Wait, Josh.
They're complementary.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Yes.
We were opening one door into a second door and opening that door at the same time, entering into a beautiful playground of mingling sensibilities.
Yeah, fine. That, whatever that is.
All right.
Okay, because here's what I'm trying to say. In these movies, the visual companion to the concept of family comes in the unassuming form
Liquid.
of an offered Corona Extra. When you get that Corona from Dom, if you're at the barbecue, let's say you're Jesse, let's say you're Vince.
I want to be those.
Let's say
I want to be anything.
Right. If you're given a Corona by Dom Toretto, or drink a Corona in the presence or company of Dom Toretto in an affable state, that is the visual indication of familia. And I don't want to rush to the familia thing, but having seen Fast Five several times, the moment where they all clink Coronas and he goes "Mi familia" is one of the great moments in American film.
I think that's why people think that Fast Five reinvented the franchise.
It did,
because
we'll find out, I guess.
We will find out, but that's what I've been told.
Yeah.
And I do think that it's moments like that where they that's why I'm curious about this family thing, because for me, this whole franchise is family because I'm so familiar with 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like all they fucking love.
It's all about family. That's why when Charlize Theron with the white dread steals the baby,
Sure.
it's a whole thing. So
even
can we do
Hobbs and Shaw's about family.
Well, yeah, it's Shaw's
Ethan's
sister.
got mama, and they both go back. They got homelands.
They got homelands.
It's all about family.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful.
Maybe that's why I don't really relate to these movies.
Because your family's fucked up. It's just
Yeah.
weird. You got a weird family.
Yeah, I didn't even know it's weird.
But in a way, I like to think you've been brought into the Josh family.
I'm in your dad's secret lair.
It's true.
How many people have been in this lair?
That lived?
No. Wait, you're saying he brings people in here?
Okay,
It's carpeted, Josh. There's
I
no
know,
way
it'd
he's
be
slaughtering
very
people
hard to
down
tell
here.
that. No, but the carpeting could be over bloodstained concrete.
Oh.
Okay, so we chronicled every
That's why I'm not
beverage in this movie because
sure
there's a
did.
lot of conspicuous drinking in this movie. I want to admit that, and I'm going to throw to you on this. When Paul Walker first drives up to Toretto's,
Mm-hmm.
the family garage / diner, Toretto, Dom himself,
I thought about that
they
too.
dispense with the diner part of it almost immediately. We get one scene in the diner where he eats a crustless tuna salad sandwich, which is an insane person's order.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only believable part of this movie, was like making fun of him for ordering a crustless. Like, that detail lands.
Hold on, calling Vince 24 late in the movie I lost my mind at
Wait,
that
what?
point. When they call Vince 24,
I don't even know what you're referring
remember
to.
he's like, I got a guy down, he's 24, and I was like, that guy's 24? No fucking way.
His age.
No
I thought you were
fucking way.
like using code. Like,
I thought he said
police slang.
44, and I was like, that guy's not 44 either. It'd be really weird if he was 44, but he's like definitely like 34.
Everyone knows I've been watching Buffy. It's an ongoing part of this podcast. We never really talk about it, but I bring it up every once in a while.
I'm happy.
I'm now in season 4.
Mazel tov. Yeah, the best season.
The actor who plays
The boyfriend?
no, what's the main boy? Xander.
Oh yeah.
He's obviously in his 30s at this point.
He goes downhill pretty quick.
Yeah.
But he
It's
had struggled
incredible.
with Nicholas. What's his name? I can't remember his name. He struggled with substance abuse stuff.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
That's sort of sad.
I think it's a bit of a.
But it's interesting to see, like, especially low budget shit like Fast and the Furious, the first one. They just wrangled together.
It's $40 million. It's not like the lowest.
I mean, I just want to compare it. So this is a good moment to compare.
No, hold on. We're getting into the fucking beverages.
Oh my God, we can't have a third door open, a side door while we very slowly walk. Fine, we'll come back.
We'll get
to
into
this
the
door.
budgets of the movies later.
It's not the budgets. It's more than the budgets.
God, I hate this so much. In Toretto's, the diner / criminal supercar garage, Dom Toretto is in the back drinking. I couldn't tell if it was a beer or a Diet Coke. He's holding a can. We don't really see what the can is, which I,
know,
feel
it
very
sucks.
agonized over.
I know. And if we'd done our research, we would have probably been able to look that up.
Maybe. Okay, so
But I think we are the researchers, so we can choose to ignore it.
fine, yeah. So unnamed beer and
I think it's a
Toretto's.
beer.
I'm assuming it's a beer.
I thought it was a
Dom
beer.
fucking loves a crispy beer. He loves a crisp
Dude,
one.
that boy's I work in the beer industry.
Yeah.
You got your hazy boys.
Yeah.
You got your
Juicy. Your juicy boy.
That's a hazy boy. It's just another term for
Jesus,
hazy
I
boy.
hate
That's
this
all
so
right.
much.
Josh, this is why you never learn anything. You're so afraid of failure that once you fail, you don't see it as a learning moment. You just see it as a moment of shame.
When you do this stuff, it's a good time for me to check the recorder.
Yeah.
We're doing fine, by the way.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Doing your job.
Yeah. Okay, so Dom is drinking an unnamed beer in Toretto's. We mentioned the Corona, obviously. Drinking Corona with Dom is, I think, most of what this franchise is.
But there's more.
There's more. Dom very conspicuously is pounding a Red Bull, a full sugar classic Red Bull, in the garage at one point. I'm more of a sugar-free Red Bull guy.
Absolutely. At this point, if you're not drinking sugar-free, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm just saying nuts. Everything.
Yeah.
I like when I learned that the hold that sugar has in this country and like demonizing diet sodas because they might give you cancer in quantities of 100 cans a day.
Yeah. First off, if you're living in America and worried about Diet Coke being the thing that gets you, like, wake up.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Yeah, so like if you're still
nuts.
Drinking like full sugar soda,
you're a lunatic.
Really go check out your life.
There's also
something wrong with you.
You know Arrowhead, the drug website where like people chronicle drug experiences?
No.
It's an amazing website.
That sounds really good.
It's run by some like aging tech hippies, but they did a profile on them in the New Yorker and they were like drinking Diet Coke and the reporter was like, well, that's interesting. You're like aging tech hippies. And they're like, yeah, we love Diet Coke. It tastes like robots. It tastes like the future.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
And it's cool. And it's like there's this whole culture around fizz and seltzer. And like, why is the quacks? Like, what is that compared to like a Coke Zero?
I rolled my eyes, let the record show.
Yeah.
Well, here, first off, now that I've quit drinking alcohol for the
Congratulations.
time being, thank you.
I'm in the same. I'm actually doing it.
I'm very proud of you. We're doing it.
I'm not quitting alcohol, but what I'm doing is I'm quitting beer.
That's
which
a good
to me
start.
is I never drink to get drunk, which is dangerous. I think it's more dangerous than drinking to get drunk. Because if you're drinking to get drunk, there's repercussions. It like actually ruins your life. Or then it's a bad cycle. I drink for the flavor. I think it's nice. It's fun. It's also a social thing, and I can do that every day.
Wait, hold on. Ask me why I drink.
Josh, why do you drink?
Why does everybody drink? The fun, the people, the culture.
Josh, you're getting ahead of yourself. That's like 7 or 8.
It's
what
8.
the fuck, dude?
We are 7 movies away from.
I think we should
I'm
going to interrupt my interruption to make a new statement. As much, I think we can reference the later movies, but I really think we should be like, we make a pact whenever we start a franchise.
A blood pact.
We've broken it once in the TMNT series, but that was because it was such a like huge leap from the animated one to we thought it was a huge leap. It wasn't. Anyway, I want to just like keep these very separate. I don't think we should be talking about the future too much.
Okay. Can I keep going with my drinks list? You're still telling a boring story about drinking?
Well, anyway, I was just saying that it's nice to be on board.
Hell yeah! Well, I've been replacing beer with the Zevia brand of stevia sodas.
I've been replacing it with Fizz.
Fizz is great, but I drink so much seltzer anyways that now I want I'll drink like a stevia ginger root beer.
Cool.
And this is fun.
Everyone listening.
This
is a moment.
Stop drinking.
Just stop it.
Or cut back.
Wait, no. Unless you live in the greater Boston area.
Oh, yeah. You got to get that bag, man. Got to keep that money coming in. But
I'm worried coronavirus is... this is going to come out in a month.
There's coronavirus in Pittsfield now.
Yeah.
There's coronavirus.
Josh invited me here.
Yeah.
Didn't tell me that there's coronavirus
I asked him to meet me in the lobby of Berkshire Medical Center.
It's like, all right, is everything okay?
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I just, wanted to show
lick
you
some
around.
handrails. Yeah. Okay, so where were we? One of the strangest beverages in the movie, and I think this was an attempt at a comedic beat in the movie.
It sure was, and I think it worked. We'll talk about it.
I guess the sheer absurdity made it work. Okay, well, first off, they do, I think, a good job holding back that Paul Walker is a undercover cop for some time. But his point of contact for the cops and, of course, those goddamn feds who are up the honest, hardworking cops' assholes.
Those fucking feds.
Don't get me started on these feds. They're in this gorgeous mansion. They're like, oh, so-and-so built it for Elizabeth Taylor. And it's like this crazy, beautiful Hollywood home. I mean, in the crazy, beautiful Hollywood home, the cops have a very specific drink order.
You skipped one. But that's all right. We can come back to it.
Oh, I did. Yeah. We'll get back to that.
It doesn't matter.
I'm jumping around, baby.
We typed it in order. Josh texted me in order. But...
No, I didn't text it in order because the unnamed beer in Toretto's, I texted you 5th.
Oh wow, you really didn't.
I
test
did.
in order.
And then Ted drinks oil.
I stopped.
We'll get to
reading
that.
After.
I did include ice water, so this list is maybe a little too.
That's all right.
He drinks coffee at the Cuban restaurant with
Gosh,
Mia.
people do not come to this podcast for
What?
information, for things they can count on to be accurate.
My list also includes soda, parentheses, unspecified, because they're drinking out of the Coke cups when they're eating shrimp together.
Yeah.
And Paul Walker does the exact same move that Keanu does in Point Break.
Mm-hmm.
It's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trucker uprising. We'll get to that.
Well, Josh, stop reading. Read in your head.
The cops have a very strange drink order. It's a very 2001 moment where they're like, they're going to have a side meeting, and one of the cops goes, "Hey, so and so, make us some iced cappuccinos." He's like, "Regular or decaf?" He's like,
You want
"Decaf."
regular decaf. And
He's like, "Decaf."
but here's the thing. This is for me why the joke worked. Cut. They're all sitting around drinking,
Big frosty mugs.
but earnestly. They're
It's
all
so
like
strange.
these four men in power, and they're just drinking out of the most silly-looking mugs.
I
These
don't
iced
ask for a lot in life. I think I'm a simple man. I would need to talk to the screenwriter of The Fast and the Furious to find out what the conversation was behind this decision, because it is fascinating.
Well,
it's like better than anything else in the movie. The fact that there's a scene where all these grown men are drinking massive foamy iced decaf
but out of
cappuccino.
glass curved mugs, like a flower. It's like a tiny flower
It is
urn.
so distracting. Like,
It was lovely.
I guess so. But again, like talking about the Point Break comparisons, the whole bit with Gary Busey's running game of, eating and always having a weird food prop or something. I don't
Right.
know. There's something about it where I think they're trying to give the movie
Yeah, you know
texture.
what? I think
'Cause
you're
it's
right.
a sort of weirdly textureless movie.
Wait, when was Point Break? 97?
No, 93.
93.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we talked about this, man. And again, talk about comparison points. Do you mind if I diverge from the
Well,
list for a
I just
minute?
want to say one thing. I don't even know if you can make an iced cappuccino.
Well, the foam
So
is
what was
the foam
that?
is quite a question.
Right.
It's
'cause
hard to
the
make
foam is-
cold foam.
It's impossible to make cold.
Right.
So when you get an iced latte, well, all they do is they pour espresso over ice, which I already think is a bad idea. And then they just dump frothed milk into it, but it immediately just becomes a one substance drink.
right, very
So
quickly.
what do you think they were drinking? Because there is obviously do you think an iced cappuccino does exist?
You're just setting me up. You want me to say it.
I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Come on. Don't make me do this. Don't make me
I'm
do
actually
this.
curious. What do you?
They're probably drinking big frosty cups of decaf cum. Yeah.
Was that? Did you get that? Try to say it a little louder. Is that a good
No,
react?
I'm not saying it again.
No.
You backed me into a corner where I had to say that, and now I'm.
Can we add that to our
livid with
band
you.
name?
Decaf
List?
cum.
Decaf
That's pretty
cum?
good.
That's really good.
Yeah, that could be a jam band or a noisecore band.
Decaf cum.
Hey, we're Decaf cum from the Massachusetts area. Okay, stick around. I like it. Okay, that's the best part of the movie. Let's continue. They also drink, and this is another conversation. We're talking about liquid calories in the 90s. At one point, Paul Walker drinks a Snapple.
Yeah. Wow.
And we were talking about
This
how
is
the ubiquity of Snapple in the 90s when people were like, oh, we're doing healthy stuff. We're eating like Gushers and Snapple.
This is the shit that we're talking about. Like the way we're so controlled. Like the fact that Snapple was a thing. It's like it was basically sugar water.
Basically, I think there's like 40 grams of sugar.
Everyone was worried about fat.
Remember Mango Man? Yeah,
Oh, you can't eat
the
fat.
90s
You
were
can't eat
crazy.
fat. But I'm gonna drink this literally 600 calorie water based drink that's just water and sugar mixed together.
I'm Googling sugar in Snapple.
Thank you. Does Snapple even exist? I have not seen one.
Snapple still exists, but I think their
What do they
market
make?
share has just tanked.
Do you think they were just bought out by a larger company? And
Yeah, I nailed it. Holy shit. I fucking nailed it.
40 grams?
40 grams. An 11.5 ounce container of the new Snapple has 100 or 170 calories and the equivalent of about 10 teaspoons of sugar, 40 or 41 grams. Comparatively, a Coke has 140 calories and less sugar. So
That's the thing. People,
right. People are like, oh, it's juice, it's tea. And it's like, no, this.
I love our
Mango
podcast
Madness?
right now.
Remember Mango Madness? 90s
Yeah.
kids will remember.
Can
You're
you
gonna-
make the Mango Madness meme?
Bring me the Mango Madness. Bring it to me.
Can you this podcast
The Mango Madness has spoken.
we opened this door about drinks. I did
Yeah.
not know we were getting into this place.
Yeah,
I like this place.
it's good. I've slept so little over the last couple of days, and it's really great to be sitting here in my father's basement study talking about Mango Madness.
So this room is wild.
Yeah, it's pretty
Because
great.
It's one of those rooms where it is in the center of the house.
Yes.
There,
It's
you could.
the panic room.
This is why, you could keep someone in here, and they would very quickly lose track of time.
Yes.
Like if you stayed in here for more than. More than 3 days, you'd have no idea what day it was.
So I used to like look up hentai and play like Age of Empires in this room, and like
Oh,
watch.
God.
I would watch like this is the room.
Wait, your dad
where,
let you in here to fucking jack off?
Dad, if you're listening, I have never jacked off in this room, Charles.
What did you do with the
Wink, wink.
hentai? Oh, I got the
Nothing.
wink.
But I would sit
Nothing.
here and do stuff while watching cable. Watching like TNT or TBS. This is the room where I've seen Deep Blue Sea like 30 times in this room. I've seen A Christmas Story like 1,000,000 times in this room.
Never
This
seen
is the room where I
either of
watched
those
The
movies.
Shining for the first time.
On
and then
that?
it was an even smaller, shittier TV. And then I was too afraid to go upstairs after it. I stayed in this room like not moving.
Everyone gives Kubrick shit for like changing his aspect ratio to match.
No, it's brilliant.
Brilliant.
It's like the smartest thing he ever did.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Imagine being the kind of lunatic who's like, okay, I'm going to take a look at the cinema shot and now the VHS shot. What a lunatic.
Yeah.
You ever seen Eyes Wide Shut? Good movie, Fidelio. Okay, let's continue with the list. We're almost done.
We're getting to the good stuff. I mean, we got some. It's all good stuff.
Baby, when you're listening to The Real Deal, Josh and Charles, our old podcast, it's good stuff. But this
None of
stuff, better stuff.
Yeah, that
When will it
I
end?
listened to. So we talked about
Soda
a movie that we watched before, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I re-listened to the Saw episode.
Yeah.
I can't believe we ever made this podcast.
Because this is not that bad, and that's very bad.
It's not good, and it's really from, I think, the distance of the record. Like
Yeah.
you can tell we're doing two separate things.
You're always marveling at this, and I think it's becoming we got to move past this revelation.
It's not just
It's better to be in the same room where our toes can touch, and I can fart, and you can laugh at my funny fart.
I know when you farted before, like I never knew how much you farted before.
Well, I think it's like I did like travel guy weekend where I was like, I'm fucking travel guy this week. I'm gonna eat whatever.
Yeah,
I definitely was like cutting loose. I like ate at Arby's on Friday.
they have meat there.
They got the meats. I got the fish sandwich though.
Good choice.
I think you got to be depraved. I think people like the cowardly move is to not eat the fish sandwich at fast food restaurants. It's like no, it's like one. I think probably one of the least like whatever. You should eat fish sandwiches. Don't be a fucking dummy. Okay, Soda Unspecified when Paul Walker gives a masterful performance within a performance when he goes, "Oh, I can't even afford shrimp. I sure wish I could steal DVD players with you,
Yeah.
Dom Toretto."
Wow,
Great scene.
So after this, the family door. Yeah, I think we want to just go through the plot of this movie.
Yeah, which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Okay. When in a very confusing plot sequence that I couldn't to this day don't really know what happened. There's engines missing from Johnny Tran's cars, so he gets mad at Ted, who's a fence, and he's like, "What's missing, Ted?" And it's stupid. But Hector stole the engines. That whole subplot I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
But they torture Ted, the cool ass Asian gang who are both played to be racist villains and yet are the coolest part of the movie. I do want to do a sidebar on this because I do feel like it's a movie where people often praise the multicultural nature of the Fast family, which grows and changes from this movie.
Sure.
But in this movie, they do like one of the oldest tricks in the Hollywood book where the bad guys are Asians.
Mhm.
And it's like,
And
now that there's a lot of space for black people or people of color to not just talk about race and be horrific stereotypes, but I thought it was like a weird, like a weirdly indicative laziness of the '90s. to
we're
have,
gonna find out. Does the family ever get bigger than? Yeah, because I guess
it expands dramatically.
it
from
does.
This movie.
Okay, I was gonna say I guess Paul Walker is white.
You nailed that one.
He's pretty. Yeah, he's white.
Yeah.
He's got
Okay.
those frosted tips. But yeah, well, I think that'll be an interesting thing because this movie. I mean, also, was this also like a big pun joke, like calling it the race wars?
We'll get to that. That was.
But I'm just saying,
fucking-
like they
yeah.
definitely played race. Hector's constantly like this movie was written by white people,
Right, because they call me Hector. I can't even pronounce my last name.
What the fuck?
Which in 2020, it's like the shtick of I can't pronounce something in Spanish is like you've got to be kidding. Like
So-
that's crazy.
And that's like what that character says. It's not like some white person's like, oh, that guy's Hector. I can't. It's like this is what it's insane.
Yeah.
But
It's
then-
this like backdoor white script racism written into every person of color in the movie. The limited role the black guy gets, the black racer gets. Who was that? Because he is not well served by this movie.
which guy?
The guy with the cornrows, who the lady's like, you feel my titty?
Oh yeah,
you get this titty no matter what. But if you win the race, you get my titties and that woman's titties additionally.
And he goes,
yeah.
And he loses.
And then later she completely fucking bails on him, which I thought was harsh.
It was pretty harsh.
Oh yeah, but Johnny Tran and his cousin Lance are the best part of the movie. Remember when Lance goes, Johnny's like, "What do you think, Lance?" Lance goes, "It's a beautiful machine."
That was a good line.
That was so sick. He thought it was
line.
the best line in the movie.
I do think it was the best line in the movie.
And his poor Johnny Tran and his cousin Lance are like the best part of the movie. They're so cool. But they make Ted the Lance drink oil. So I included oil on the list of beverages.
Boy, does he drink oil.
All I see over there is that you popped up the image of Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, it's written by David
Ayer. Oh, no shit. He did Suicide Squad. I totally forgot that.
He was written by Gary Scott Thompson and Eric Berquist. So, so it was written by 3 white men.
You think, wait, Berquist? You're just assuming it's a white name? Eric with a K, Berquist? Okay. They drink ice water and then they drink coffee on their date when they go to the Cuban restaurant, the little red candles.
That is nuts to me. You're going to a Mexican restaurant and you're ordering.
It's Cuban, you piece of shit. Holy shit.
I thought he said it was Mexican.
That's the most racist thing you've ever done, and we got it on tape. No, it's Cuban.
Oh.
You dog human.
Anyway, you're
a trash man.
You go to a spicy food joint.
You have coffee. Cubans love coffee.
You order hot coffee.
Is that racist? I don't know. Look it up. Cubans, I'm so sorry. I think it's like coffee.
This is everyone listening. We're only on the first episode.
This is not going well.
This is going to be a dangerous.
We're only 40
episodes.
minutes in. Can we delete and start over?
No.
Okay.
Your brother's not here to do that. I'm just saying this is dangerous.
Leave Mike out of this.
You got 2 30-year-old white men talking about. We're going to talk a lot about race.
It's not going to be good.
It's going to be nuts.
So let's talk about parallels to this movie as an LA movie.
Wait, we didn't enter the. This is what I was afraid of.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is what I was afraid of. I open one door. You immediately open a second door. And my door got.
Before you were bemoaning that we couldn't open a third door.
Right, because, I thought you open a second door.
What
all
door
bets
do you have
off.
open? I want to just get.
The family door.
The family door is the whole series. Let me just get this thing off my chest.
Right, but I want to chronicle every time someone talks about family. And to me, only one person did it in this movie.
No, 2 people did it.
Who? What was the second one?
Sergeant Tanner brings up. And again,
I want to talk about that moment.
Okay.
I want to talk about each moment they talk about family.
Okay, that's a bigger conversation.
This might get crazy because the later movies, they talk about it a lot.
Right. Okay, let me just weasel in my LA movies sidebar. It's so short.
But don't forget about my door.
I'm not going to forget about your goddamn
We've gone
door.
Through
Me
my
familia.
big portal, through your smaller door. You walked right past my third door. You're like, nope, can't do that. But now you're trying to get into some fucking
that picture of Sam is crazy.
Air conditioning unit.
Is he on a trampoline? That's nuts.
No, he's just jumping. We used to do that too.
Jumping.
We used to jump off
Mid-air
chairs when we were
photos,
kids. Yeah, mid-air photos.
Okay, so
people still do that.
Probably it's a beloved pastime.
Remember when we did it as millennials?
There's a photo of me wearing a Morrissey shirt, jumping in midair in a disposable camera photo.
We had to wait
like
until it was developed to see how good they came out.
Kids these days, all they care about is TikTok and the coronavirus. Okay, so this is a very LA movie, and it reminded me very much of 2 films we watched recently. One, of course, being Blade, because a big part of this movie is about the transformation of LA at night and LA by day, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
And the second movie, this is the one where this is a bit of a snafu for old Josh. Bad Boys is, of course, set in Miami, but we kept thinking it was for the first movie. I think we thought it was LA for the first half hour or something.
Yeah.
But those 2, I thought Blade and Bad Boys are definitely 2 analogous series where you were asking did this come out before Bad Boys 2? Because all the frenetic, super color saturated, crazy urban racing shit that Bad Boys 2 turns into a fucking operatic bloodbath. This is sort of hinting towards.
Yeah.
And again, like Blade, I like how much an interesting element of the movie are the fast transitions from night into day and day into night, which I kept being like, oh, is this reverse Blade? Because I'm fucking funny as shit.
You are funny. It was funny moments. I was laughing.
But I liked that. Would you get any juice out of that? Like LA by Night, where one depiction is friggin' vampires are out there. This is dorks with their dumbass cars are gonna fucking.
I honestly think you were influenced by it. I think you're like, oh, that's something that we just watched and it worked. Let's talk about it. I don't think this movie used place well at all.
Well, no, it actively disintegrates place, which drives me crazy.
Yeah.
We talked about the legendary comparison that I made because I'm so fucking smart. I'm so fucking insightful. This is such a good podcast. The foot race in Point Break versus the foot race in Bad Boys.
Yeah.
The visual continuity of when one thinks of like a classic film, visual continuity is sort of like considered to be one of the greatest accomplishments. As I often reference, from Seven Samurai to Die Hard, movies that like really invest in place, everything is heightened because we know like, oh no, he's gonna go right over there, and that's where the thing is. Like The Thing, obviously my favorite movie of all time.
Sure, The Thing.
You know, that movie, like,
but
you can analyze doors being open and be like, oh my god, that door's open.
Right.
You
don't really know where the thing is.
Wow, that's the whole thing. Where is that freaking guy? But in this movie, much in the bad boy mold of like complete popcorn fucking jack-offery, you know, they go to this street race where there's I'm just gonna be conservative, 10,000 people standing.
It's like rush hour traffic all just pulled over.
Right. I'm gonna just again like 400,000 cars and a million people, and they engage in a street race where they are like shown to be going so fast that reality is warping and falling away around them, like a Chris Nolan movie. And yet they're doing like a straightaway race where later in the movie, Dom makes a big point about how he lives his life a quarter mile at a time, which, by the way, as not car people, that sounds like a fucking very cowardly thing to say. Like, what a fucking, like, I only care about, like, you know, a 10-minute walk. Like, a quarter mile is not that far. And I get it for cars or whatever. It's like, how fast can you go in a quarter mile? I don't know. Cars are dorky and shitty.
Yeah, well, there's so much to talk about. This episode is going to go long.
It's a classic 2 hours.
But also, I do want to warn people that this is a 9-part series for us.
Yeah.
And it will be a dangerous place to enter for 2 reasons now. One, we're going to have to talk about race a lot, and we might fuck up, so we're sorry about that.
Even worse.
And we're going to be doing some
racing.
We're going to be doing some really bad Vin Diesel impressions. You just did a bad one.
I watched my father burn to death. I heard him scream, but then they told me you were the one who was screaming.
Well, why tell that story?
Because it's about family.
Can we show that
It's about
story?
family. Toe touch, number 3.
I want to see that.
I mean, you can. Why don't you insert a clip of that? There must be 1,000.
It could have been the opening to the movie.
I bet if
like there's like hearing a man say, my mate said my dad died before it blew up.
I heard him scream. I am the bat.
But then
swear to me.
But then they told me it was me who was like.
It's a crazy story to tell someone.
And it's a bad story. It's just
he's been friends with Paul Walker for like 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And he tells him.
I mean,
anyways, here's what I'm trying to say. We can't talk about cars this much in the first episode. Cars are weird and stupid, and we're going to talk about the whole show.
But this is movie is a bad movie. This is objectively a poorly made movie, and I think it only works because cars are so dorky.
Yeah.
That you either have people that are really into them. They're like,
Jesse.
Sure.
Rip, man. Rip.
Jesse?
Yeah, he dies.
Who's Jesse?
Jesse's Jesus fucking Christ.
Hold on, I got the IMDb right.
You don't give a shit about family. Jesse's the little dork who bets his dad's
I love Jesse.
Jetta.
Jesse was my favorite.
He's like, I'm going to bet my daddy's Jetta against Johnny Tran, the charismatic, handsome leader of a gang.
What an
idiot, Jesse.
Oh, he's only driving a Honda. It's like, what the fuck? You think the leader of a gang is only
probably
driving?
Good at racing, you dipshit.
Dude, he's got $1 million under the hood.
No, it's actually 100,000. It's
$100,000 under the hood.
And then,
but also
Johnny Tran is Johnny. He's the guy they show playing a video game. Remember?
That was
racist as fuck.
Yeah,
the Asian guy's playing a car video game while he's about to actually race an actual car.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's funny.
Uh-huh.
And here's the thing. I actually was once in Arizona in like 2009 with a bunch of like really rich conservative people at a huge mansion. It's a crazy story.
Wow, that actually is cool.
But then we were watching Star Trek.
Which one?
The one that just come out at that point.
The one called Star Trek.
J.J. Abrams. And they're like, yeah, of course the Asian character has a samurai sword. And as I was like 19, I was like, that guy didn't write the movie. A white guy made the movie.
Oh, they were blaming it on the actor?
They were responding to it with the dewy naivete of like a child being like, yeah, of course the Asian guy's got it. It's like, this is a movie white people made where they gave an Asian guy a samurai sword because we are objectively a shit race of idiots.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in this movie where people would probably have laughed like, yeah, the Asian guy is playing a video game. And that's the whole joke. There's no, and it's like, it really fucking drove me crazy.
Yeah, this is a bad movie. I'm not going to get ahead of myself yet. I think the death of Jesse is another reason why this is a bad movie. Like, he literally gets gunned down in front of Toretto's home, and that's it. That's the end of his story.
Well, then we'll talk about the abrupt end of the movie. Can we talk about the plot now? Because the plot
Yeah.
is fucking...
We got to get into this movie because like we're talking around it. This is a very boring, bad movie.
Okay.
That's very bad and boring.
It's very bad and boring. It's full of funny little textural things that despite... I think because the movie's so smooth and weird, the moments that are weird are delightful.
What do you find smooth and weird? Like I don't find this movie smooth at all.
No, but it's just like it's like a brutal utilitarian thing. It just hammers this thing forward.
I think it's like diarrhea.
Sure,
where
fine.
Thinks like it looks smooth, but man, if you talk about anyone, it's coming
what was
out.
the thing kids
like
used
coming
to say,
out, not good.
Smooth move, X-Lax. What's that from?
Yeah, that's from our childhood.
I know, but it must be a reference because the fucking 90s kids will remember.
No, it's just people say stuff and then other people say it.
Okay, so there's a big problem in Los Angeles, and it's the biggest problem in the world. It requires cops and the feds, those goddamn feds,
Dude, this
to work
story
together.
ruled. This was the story.
Right. What's the biggest problem in Los Angeles? This is, again, a pre-9/11 movie, which is so funny to watch. Like, there's a huge problem. We have to address this problem. It's very serious. Charles, what's the problem?
3 cars steal DVD players.
Yeah, they're stealing these car criminals using... Okay, so something I often reflect on when rewatching the Star Wars films, if you'll permit me for a moment. Will you permit me for a moment?
Yeah.
The Han rescue plan in Return of the Jedi is like the worst plan in a movie ever.
Can you go over it just quickly?
Okay, so first Leia goes undercover to free Han and gets captured.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, second Luke goes.
Yeah, but not undercover.
But not
sort of
dubiously undercover.
Under the cover of a robe.
Of he's wearing like a hoodie. And he gets dumped into the Rancor pit. We see Slave Leia. Lando's in the wings. And then...
How many people are undercover in that scene?
Oh, it's complicated. Well, at that point, only really Lando at that point.
Lucas was in an undercover kick at that point.
He was having quite a time. And then they act like the whole plan came together when on the very edge of the Sarlacc pit... R2 shoots up the lightsaber to Luke, who does a flip, and like they act like this is like this brilliant plan they concocted, which like required them to be on the precipice of being eaten forever, eternally by a sand monster. Like it's a terrible plan. It makes no sense.
Hey, you know what a better plan would be? Luke comes in with a fucking lightsaber and kills everybody.
Right? Why did Leia have to get in prison? Why? Like the whole thing makes no. It's a terrible plan. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. It's terrible. So here's the...
I never want to watch those movies ever again. Can we make a pact?
No, I'm probably going to end up watching them again. Fuck. When I have a beautiful, perfect child, we'll probably have to watch all of them. And the good versions on Disney+.
Why don't you just watch The Last Jedi?
I think...
You do need them.
You need to understand the knowing wink of The Last Jedi. You have to watch a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, so analogous to that horrible plan that's needlessly complicated, full of risk, and full of... limited reward based on the amount of risk put into it. Here's how the car thieves steal DVDs from a truck. First off, I don't know how much you got for a Panasonic DVD player in 2001, but the amount of...
2001. I actually bought my first DVD player around that time.
Okay.
I paid $60 for it.
Okay, but like a black market one, it's got to be below retail. That's the whole premise of black market.
Right. So you're spending
like
30
to 40 but I'm saying they put so much money into these fucking cars and put the cars in such great risk on the road to steal the DVDs. There's no way they're making that much money on these DVD players.
Where are they selling? Maybe there's... Oh my God. So,
LA, baby.
I mean, but as Paul Walker's character does say, you can't be funding this operation on fixing cars. Like,
that's an incredibly lucrative business.
That is the business.
The whole world of cars is an elaborate price fixing scheme that allows people to like look up dealerships. Like the whole premise of a dealership is one of the most insane parts of the like completely amoral capitalist nightmare we live in.
Toretto?
Like there's no reason cars are expensive. It's crazy.
What's his name? Toretto?
The main fucking character of the entire fucking series?
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is fucking Dom Toretto.
Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
He's
such a hottie. Oh my God.
It's not only he works on cars, he like works on cars. Like that shit's expensive. People come to him to get very special things done. He can fund a racing operation with that.
Right.
He can make he can use that money to... This movie's so
crazy.
great.
Okay, so...
Also, Paul Walker's a very good mechanic too, and then he's like hates being a cop, and they're like, you know what? Why don't you just quit? And it's like...
That's not the thing. You don't...
He's like, this is your job. It's like, what are you going to do if this doesn't work? Become a fucking car mechanic.
Right, you're clearly very good at being a car mechanic.
None of these people need to be criminals.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It makes no sense. Anyways, so here's the truckers, the truck theft plan, which is so insane that like, I'm sure I feel like it's a John Woo situation where they wrote this like, okay, 3 black cars with green underlighting zoom out on the highway. They triangulate around a truck. One of the cars pulls in front of the truck and pulls out a grappling hook launcher harpoon device that rips out just the side window of the truck.
Yeah.
Then a human being climbs into the truck.
No, you skipped a step.
Oh, they shoot a second grappling hook device, which creates a line for someone to pull themselves into the truck to physically melee the driver who's hitting you with a bat. And then you knock out the driver and steal the whole truck. It's an insanely stupid.
It's not even that it's stupid. It's boring.
Well,
it's not an interesting use of cars.
Yeah. It's really boring because like instead of like a chase, they lock into a holding pattern,
right?
And then have to maintain a holding pattern.
Of highway.
4th foot touch. There's a tap. That was my fault.
It was okay. It wasn't it wasn't a covering.
Yeah.
It was a side stud.
Tip, tip, tip. So the central problem of the movie is that I think something that on paper or in the boardroom sounded exciting is actually both it's like the 1917 thing where it's like this has become so complicated and like technical that it's no longer like that cool. I'm now just like, oh, this is nuts. So then when they do it in the climactic style, like in the, again, a horrible Point Break thing where like now we finally see the unmasked guys do the thing they've been, quietly doing the whole movie. And that the total lack of suspense is remarkable. So when Vince, like the shittiest asshole, when they feed like the dumb asshole guy into the most dangerous position, that's a cowardly, stupid thing to do in a movie.
Right.
Where now
we don't care if he dies.
Right. The guy we like the least carrying out the plan that is the stupidest is in the most danger. You're like, who fucking cares?
Yeah. Make it anyone else.
Anyone else, but there's more stakes at play.
Yeah. Also, I don't really care about anyone anyway, but like making it the guy that beats up our supposed protagonist. Yeah, like, well, maybe he will. Yeah, great. Let's have him die.
Right. Who cares?
No one cares.
Anyway, so the end of the movie is like these guys who we kind of like, I guess, but don't really care about or try to pull off the same stupid heist. And you have the chance to reflect for a second time on how like weirdly like obtuse this plan is. I think in every mob movie, there's like a car in the road and they pull a gun on the truck guy and they're like, all right, just fuck off, man. But the truckers in this movie are not about to take this shit lying down.
Yes,
and here's the
story.
Most frustrating part of the movie. They allude to something else going on that is completely, if you're people like me and Charles, all I wanted to hear about was the trucker uprising.
That's all. Oh my God.
Because the feds, those fucking feds, they're like, look.
There's just one of them.
The one guy.
You just call it the Fed.
The Fed. The Fed is like, look, we got to solve this problem with the truck robberies because these truckers are
about to fucking revolt.
They are like losing their shit. The last thing we need in America, June 2001, the last thing America can handle are aggravated truckers.
Yeah, what's going to happen?
So the stakes of the movie are Dom Toretto has to fund his stupid, boring racing life by stealing DVD players from angry truckers in a scheme that seems impossible.
Oh, well, wait, you forgot about, there's also, what we talked about, right? But yes, also, there's a non-violent gang war between him and a racially stereotyped Asian gang.
It was way cooler. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I wanted to follow Johnny Tran's gang because they're fucking cool.
They're cool.
Cousin Lance is the most baller dude in the fucking entire movie.
Fucking,
what do you think, Lance? He's always asking Lance what he thinks, and Lance is a fucking badass.
It's a great character. Like that's a dynamic that works, and Jesse works.
Yeah.
And they underplay like all these, and that's a part of the Tran story, where he loses his car to Tran and just drives off.
And then Tran, like a fucking baller, like just
Guns
fucking blows his shit up. It's sick.
So those three characters are locked together, but they're a part of a separate movie. They just like it's like a little bump against a better movie that we could have been watching.
And you're like, okay, Jesse, he tells us that like he has ADD, he like can't function in society. All he likes is cars. His father's in jail. And like, what an interesting character.
Yeah, this guy's awesome.
Right.
He drives a souped-up Jetta, which is a car that I've heard of.
If your favorite guy, Nicholas Winding Refn, made this movie, the movie would be a fucking pathetic geek, makes a horrible decision, and a crime boss murders him horribly. And that'd be the whole movie, and it would be fucking awesome.
Oh my God, I love
instead,
that movie too.
Both the Trucker Uprising, which I would love to see.
John Carpenter could have made a cool Trucker Uprising movie around this time, I think.
So, but we're stuck with this horrible paradigm of like the photocopied Point Break dynamic. Which, look, I think, let's get to this. Vin Diesel is fucking great as Dom Toretto.
He's good.
Paul Walker is not great.
Nope, he's fine.
That's being generous. He's bad, but like a bad in like a fun Hollywood way where you're like it's not good.
Yeah.
But like so we're stuck with like the most boring part of the movie being foregrounded as all these cool things are happening. And by the end of the movie, the fucking trucker battling off the raid has a goddamn shotgun and it's so sick. He's so cool.
He's so cool.
He's defending his truck.
You never see him. It's such a great decision.
Right. And yet, like, again, the problem is that's a more compelling thing than anything else happening.
The trucker that you never see is more interesting than everything else happening in that moment.
Look, I've heard a hobo with a shotgun, but trucker with a shotgun?
Have? We've never talked about that.
I have a life outside of this podcast.
You've seen it?
I've seen Rutger Hauer in... That's Rutger Hauer, right?
Yeah.
Man, that guy,
dead.
what a life.
Dead.
Rip. Hey, rip, Jesse. Rip Rutger.
Fuck.
Look, honestly...
Two good rips.
I said what I said.
You can work on that.
I know.
It's more... Here... It's more in response to somebody else. Yeah.
I said what I said.
I mean, you can say it any way you want. That's the beauty of that phrase.
I said what I said.
You're getting into it.
Yeah.
That's good.
De Niro must have said that at some point, right? Yeah,
you probably said it many times. That's good De Niro. For everyone at home, Josh is doing a very good De Niro.
Just turn your mouth as downward as possible.
And tilt your head around. Josh is doing great. Yep.
The Irishman was so good. I want to watch it the third time.
Yeah.
Fucking
well, we were talking about crime.
Yeah.
And The Irishman did a great thing where like you watch 3 hours of a man doing crime.
And it's like...
And then the last half hour is like, oh, you didn't need to be doing crime. You made like $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
And this movie is all like they're making millions of dollars with an actual business.
Okay, well, comparing Fast and Furious to The Irishman is exactly why this is a good podcast. Yeah. Because like the whole point of that movie is like this was stupid. It was stupid and empty and meaningless and violent for no purpose.
Yeah.
This entire undertaking was futile, and you'll be left sitting somewhere being like, what was I doing? Or like battling off that fear your entire life to that question. And this movie, everyone's motivations are stupid. Mm-hmm. Nothing really matters. The racing is, again, the worst part of the movie. We were watching this and I was like, I want to watch Speed Racer because they try to get to that level of like, they're going so fast, it's fucking psychedelic. But it just like, it doesn't get there.
It doesn't.
It falls short.
It was made in 2001. It was just, we needed a little 9/11 to amp things up.
9/11 was the NOS to our culture. That's the best thing I've ever said. We should stop now.
No,
9/11 was the NOS tank in the engine of American culture.
Like it fucking blew the pivot reins off of our chain boxes.
Oh my god! Well, when the piston grip gets warped because of the torque. There's so many great sentences. I said Star Trek as the nearest reference point. There's like whole exchanges where they're like, oh, we've got to, the manifold's going to buckle on the 2-3 if it comes off the split like that.
Yeah.
And then people are like, yeah, he's right.
He's fucking right.
He's fucking right. The manifold is going to do it.
So this movie was made by a bunch of dorks who included a bunch of car talk so car boys could jack off. But then they're like, wait, we want this to appeal to more than just car boys.
Midriffs.
So the non-car boys can also jack off.
This is one of the least sexy sexual movies ever.
What about girls? They don't jack off, do they? Can we check on that? No, sir, they don't jack off.
Okay. Actually, Mia and Brian's kiss is hot. When he wakes up in the middle of the night to get a call from...
Yeah, that was a good
kiss.
It was fine. I find her as an actor to be so uninteresting. Like her best moment is when she drives and she's like like a crazed demonic smile, just like
they're all sociopaths.
And she's like the way she sits in the car, everything about her physical acting is really good. Mm-hmm.
But she's just underserved by the script. I'm gonna put it down to that. She plays Dom Toretto's hot sister who works at the diner,
and her hotness is like she's a really interesting face, and it's like I feel like they could have, maybe it's just because of like budget and casting, but like. She's not a very, like, especially for 2001, not a typical hottie.
This is true, yeah. I think
that was really cool. Yeah. Like everyone, like she's written to be the hottie, but she's like very striking features, and it's like and I think she understands her physicality really well, and she in her one scene where she got to use that, she nailed it.
But I think we're talking around the fact that it's thankless to play Dom Toretto's sister in this movie.
Oh yeah,
because he is. When we talk about this being a franchise, I'm about to ask you the titular question of our podcast.
I was about to ask you.
Okay, well, look at us go. Dom Toretto his presence, Vin Diesel's performance is fascinating. And certainly knowing this is the beginning of a genuinely mind-bogglingly, like a 2-decade-long arc, you're like, yeah, this guy is fucking fascinating. And if nothing else in this movie works, Dom Toretto rules. From, I would say, the second we see the back of his shiny head in Toretto's drinking an unnamed beer.
That's a good point, because I don't think he works as a character yet. I think Vin Diesel's working in his own strange way, because I also don't think he's a very good actor. But I think when
he was born to do whatever this is.
Yeah, like my history with Vin Diesel, I've only really seen him in Boiler Room, where he plays like a...
You haven't seen Pitch Black?
No. I haven't seen Pitch Black. I haven't seen...
Pitch Black is... I haven't seen that in a long time. Or The Chronicles of Riddick?
I haven't seen The Chronicles of Riddick.
You haven't seen The Chronicles, bro?
No.
You haven't seen the...
Let me see what I've seen by him. But where
if
he
you go to
plays like...
Letterboxd right now, I'm going to punch you.
I'm not. I'm just clicking on...
Clicking on Vin and clicking on
I
Vin.
lost internet.
This is good stuff.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll never know what Vin Diesel was in.
Movies. Okay.
But we've talked this movie is boring and bad, and the connection to family is not like when Paul Walker calls them a gang. This is why you know this wasn't about family yet, because in 2008 he would have been like, "We're not a gang, we're familia." They said we're a team.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting. I like the aspect of a team, like bringing together people.
Well,
like,
okay, to go back,
they weren't there yet.
To go back to the first mention of family in the movie, which we alluded to earlier.
Yeah, my door.
Oh, God,
I forgot about my own door. My beautiful fucking portal.
I'm about to shut your freaking door. The first time family's mentioned in the series, almost fucking mind-boggling.
By accident. Yeah, it seems like it was just like a throwaway.
Well, first off, okay, so this is the sergeant for the LAPD who has an undercover cop working a high-profile case, and he tells him, "Look, it's all about family. You just got to choose a family."
Yeah, you can make. He's like, I forget exactly the line. I do have the lines up.
Okay, yeah, pull it up. Yeah, but it's great. First off, if you're a cop, you're probably not telling an undercover cop, like agent, like, "Look, you just got to pick a team. You just got to, it's just choose one." Like, okay, read the line.
All right, so. Oh wait, Johnny Tran says it too. Oh, he just says you
disrespected my whole family. Yeah.
Oh, they don't even. IMDb
that's not even
users
quoted?
Don't even consider it
That's correct.
to be a quote.
IMDb, this is the problem with democracy.
Absolutely.
Two problems with democracy.
You're leaving power in the hands of the fuckers.
Yeah.
People cannot be trusted.
You can't trust people.
Yeah, so it's... to answer your question, Josh.
Yes.
I'm asking, when will it end?
I'm out. You're out already?
So, I mean, we have to ask. I've seen all these movies.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen 2, but I've seen 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, but...
I am asking when will it end. I think this is a terrible movie. I think the only reason why I wouldn't be asking when will it end is because I know about the existence of the future. At this point, I do not see this as like Shrek came out the exact same year, won Best Animated Feature, and it created a world with characters that were fun and interesting, and they actually had layers like onions and cakes.
Pretty good.
Get in my belly.
Yeah, we're not going to watch Layer Cake. Okay, so here's my counterpoint. There's a second Layer Cake?
Look it up.
Fuck. Here's my thing.
Fake news brought to you by Charles Hobby.
This is fucked up. We got to wrap this motherfucker up. Okay.
We can't. There's too much.
There's 8 more movies. We had plenty of time to talk at great length. That's the whole show. Do you not understand what we're doing? We're going back to watch the next 8
more movies.
I'm excited. Psycho. You fucking psycho.
I'm not excited for Too Fast. I think Too Fast.
I'm sure it's going to suck. I want to watch it with Allison. I want to convince Allison to watch it with us. I think.
Oh, is she still here?
Yeah.
I thought she was heading to
Boston. We need to finish this episode. I am not asking when will it end because for one reason alone.
Go ahead.
Watching the movie, I had that moment where like I'm not watching this movie with the reverse historicity of having watched much of the rest of the series. I'm watching this movie as a guy who watches franchises for a podcast. And watching this movie, I realized this is the ultimate sandbox movie.
So
it's because it's such a mess, because it's so open-ended, and you're like, the only premise of this is high-octane crime. Of this, yes, like, I would like to see what happens in the second one because in my experience doing this podcast, watching these movies as though I'd never seen anything in this series before, though I know to prepare myself for a rough second, because that's usually what happens, you're like, yeah, but this could get weird. So on one level, I'm the optimistic franchise viewer who says, look, these things start in a sandbox and end up in this elaborate mythology that we're going to enjoy. And as someone who's seen the later movies, to step into those shoes, I know how fucking weird it gets.
Yeah.
And it gets so weird. So yeah, like to me, to separate out those two identities, the first time viewer and the long time viewer. Long time viewer says, stay tuned, buddy. By movie 8, they're like at a fucking Russian missile silo racing over a frozen lake, and it's fucking dank, and talking about Havana.
See, I disagree. I don't think this movie alludes to that at all. And as we've been talking for the last
you
hour.
don't understand.
All right, say it again.
I'm saying, as someone who watches franchises,
yeah,
we have seen them, usually by movie 3, take on a whole, like just start to morph into something else.
I'm just saying you're a time traveler.
I'm not a time traveler.
I'm just saying we have to ask this question based on what we've seen so far.
I'm saying, as someone who watches franchises, watching the beginning of this, watching this movie as the potential start to a franchise, it's like, yes, this clearly has potential to get weird. I'm saying, did I love this movie? No, it's got a lot of huge structural problems. But do I watch it being like, this could get, like, I think about Bad Boys. Bad Boys 1, kind of a lackadaisical fun movie.
But it had characters.
I know, it's an infinitely better movie.
No, but I'm just saying that's what I'm saying is lacking. They don't understand the use of space. They don't understand the use of time. And they certainly don't understand the use of characters. I'm watching a movie about 8 people, and the only people I care about are the people that they don't care about.
Jesse, Rip,
Tran,
Rucker Hauer,
and
Rip.
But I'm like, that's what I'm saying is like I don't want any more of this. The people in charge of this are complete fools.
I like the elements that they're playing with in this messy way.
You like cars?
Oh, they're so cool.
You like
I freaking love it when I love me a tube top.
You love tube tops.
I like the flat top. I like a tube top.
You like both of the tops?
Yeah, and I like the high tops.
Yeah, I like the flat top best.
No. Okay, please, hear my truth. Pretending I don't know what's to come, I think you can watch this and be like, yeah, I'm going to give this at least another couple.
Well, what's the point of this show then if you're just going to be like, well, I know what's coming?
I'm saying I'm separating those things out.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm saying if I didn't even know that we're going to go to Fast 5, one of the most important films of the last 20 years, not a joke.
Yeah.
I would say this
especially
movie,
for
like,
franchise.
Oh, absolutely.
That Fast 5 is like everyone was trying, like it was in reboot culture and like everyone was doing it wrong.
Right. Fast 5 is a
Fast
miracle
5 is
of the franchise
showing,
experience.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Let's say I have no idea what happens next. I love Johnny Tran and his motorcycle gang. I loved like the LA elements of the movie.
See,
the rare time space worked in the movie. I liked the sets.
Give me one example of when it worked.
I like when they go into Chinatown and then the birds fly off of the massive pagoda, John Woo style. That was sick.
That could have happened anywhere.
I know. I'm saying
I don't know where that was.
We're not arguing. I agree with you. There's problems with the movie. I'm saying, to go back to what we talk about in these franchises, or the first movie is the testing lab where we're like trying stuff out. I love Dom Toretto. I love the fact that it's like, we're doing like Point Break, but we're gonna like stretch this fucker out. Like there's things about it where I'm like, I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm
out yet. I'm excited for Tokyo Drift, only in that streets aren't nearly as long in Tokyo.
Yeah,
they gotta know how to drift.
Yeah,
that's like LA is like, oh, it's like there's those long lines of lights. We can race here because it's just like the races were so fucking boring.
Green light on the highway. Sorry, red line on the highway, green light on the freeway, baby. Hey, hey, hey.
What's that?
West LA fade away. Bam, bam, bam. Do. Check out the March 1990 West LA fadeaways. Those are hot.
So,
look, we don't agree on everything.
All right, I'm asking. We got not.
You're right. Okay, we got to wrap this fucking episode up.
Yeah.
We're fast. We're fucking livid. We got to find out what happens to these truckers.
The Fast and the Livid.
The Fast and the Livid.
All right, so let's make
our
some
show would be the Farts and the Livid.
We haven't done predictions in a while.
Okay.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Wait, you've seen it?
Oh, so long ago.
Okay, well, I'm
like
gonna
15 years ago.
The cop story's gone. He chooses to become a part of this group.
Familia. It's not really a group. It's more of a family.
It's more of a team.
It's all about family.
At this point, it's a team. And they're going to do some more racing.
Every second you talk is a second I'm not eating a bagel.
Let's go eat a bagel.
got the pre-roll going, baby.
I have this one.
Pre-roll.
What do I have? Hold on.
Cause I'm rolling, cause he's pre-rolling, cause he's pre.
How do I see my orders? There it is.
He's a good boy. Podcasts about movies, watch Shrek films, and the Fast and the Furious 2. He's got a podcast co-host, a French guy named Charles from Francetown, way across the sea, cause they're rolling, cause I'm pre-rolling.
I have the audio.
Somewhere Tom Petty in heaven or hell. I don't know what Tom Petty did.
I have the audio.
We may never know it.
Audio Technica ATR 2100.
That's a good mic.
Should I try that next time? Is that better than the MPC?
Well, the Sennheiser is built with Sennheiser is built with
by Werner Herzog himself
with German specificity in a way that we can only begin to imagine. I'm going to tweak the mids a little bit. I'm going to tweak the mids a little bit. I'm going to tweak him, tweaking the mids a little bit.
Fuck! I've never seen him do his job.
It's going to sound better now because I'm doing my job better.
Oh my God!
You still sound weird because you're a man. Okay, talk again.
I refuse.
Je refuse. What is the French? The French are always refusing stuff.
Yeah.
I like that Europeans for a while were like, I shall not. And everyone's like, wow, fuck, he's not gonna.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do it.
That's their big play?
He's like, I shall not.
I mean, that's because all of Europe is being forced to do things you don't want to do.
Yeah, it's called the friggin' Eurozone.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Brexit stood up to that.
All right, this pre-roll is getting too long.
You can't
Can
throw away a second of this.
I'm not. No one listens to this, so it doesn't matter. I could.
The pre-roll or the show?
Not sure.